I've done it. I've given my last day. It's real. I have quit my job. Yeah, no, this is not a clickbait. I've really quit my job. When I was moving to Canada, I had the same dream that every other new immigrant does, the Canadian dream. So, getting a job was, of course, one of my top priorities. And luckily enough, I landed a great role in a great company that I wanted to work for actually. So, today I'm going to share the 5 reasons that made me walk out of the corporate life. If you're new here, I am Akanksha. I live in Toronto and I post weekly videos about traveling, living, and moving abroad. So, a sub to the channel would be amazing, and let's take it from the top. Remember in my last video that I shared, I told you that I was burnt out, and one of the reasons of that burning out was the fact that I was doing 2 jobs at once. Yeah, no, not 2 full-time jobs, but my full-time job and the content creation that I do on a regular basis. I was getting super exhausted when I was juggling these 2 things, and I could not focus properly on either of the two. So one day I was speaking to my partner and he asked me like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years and what do you want to actually do? What is your dream? And right when he asked me that, I knew my answer. Ever since I moved out of India in 2017, I always had a job. Whether it's full time or part time, I was always working. I never went back to my parents to ask for money after I moved out. So having that constant income was very important for me because I did not also want to go back to them for my daily expenses. I have worked part time in a retail store, I have worked as a server in a restaurant, I have worked as an office admin, and there was a time I was actually doing all 3 jobs at once, but it was a very short period of time. Once I finished my studies, I quit my part-time jobs and I started working full-time. Then when I moved from Australia to Canada, that time also I did not really quit my job. I took a long break and I started working full-time after I moved here remotely for Australia. I don't ever remember having a break for more than a week between my jobs or not ever having a second job lined up before I quit my first one. So I always had a backup plan even if I was quitting my first job. And then I got this job in Canada that I'm doing right now. Everything was going well. There's no issues whatsoever with the job or the company itself. But I felt this was the time to quit. No, I did have a think about it, and I also had a chat with Zain. And I'm firstly really grateful that you asked me to stay until end of summer. But I don't think that would be possible for me at the moment because I am like planning a few things. And if I delay and stay here until end of summer, like everything gets shifted further. That's not possible because I have some preoccupations, so I need to get those done. I really enjoy working here, but the only thing is that like when I see myself in the future, this is like it won't work out for me in the right way. So I thought like I have to take big decisions. Although every new immigrant dreams of having a job like this where everything is fine, a stable income, a good work environment, every single thing that's just that ticks the right boxes, but I was not satisfied, and the reason for that was that I did not see any career growth in this role. If you ask me where I want to see myself in the next 5 years in terms of career, I want to be working in advertising for sure, but I want to lead a team where I am managing people. I have different projects to work on. Every project is different. I have some space where I can use my creativity. And while all of this is happening, I also want to see my work recognized through increments and promotions. However, I could not see these things in this particular work setting. I liked my work and loved my team, but there was no scope to grow in the ways that I want. And before this, in Sydney as well, I was doing the same thing. My job title was also the same, ad ops specialist. Eventually, I did realize that I was doing the exact same thing from the last 4-5 years, and if I stay here, I will also be doing the same thing for the next 2-3 years. I had gotten into monotony, and there was one thing that I hate in life, it's monotony. I'm grateful for the role, but the thing was that I felt that I'm trapped in the same cycle of doing the same thing every single day, and I felt that it has gripped my life into a routine that I absolutely don't like. This reason is the most important one, and it is the fact that this job was not making me happy. Because of this monotony, I felt extremely upset about doing the same thing every day, and even though I tried to put on a nice, happy, smiling face, I knew that I am not performing well. This is not my 100%, and I'm not even able to give my 100% because I'm not even like satisfied doing what I'm doing. But I also could not really do anything because the paycheck was coming in, so that felt good. I did try to ignore this feeling for a while and do my best to ignore it, but you know that one time when your sixth sense tells you that something is not right, it was that time. And when this hit, I knew it was 100% time to quit. I spoke to my partner as well, and he said that do what you actually want to do, because you can always get back into the corporate world even after a break. I think when this conversation happened, it really encouraged me to reassess what I was doing in my work life and take decisions that were right for me, not for anyone else. I don't know if you're relating to me, but if you are, leave me a sun emoji in the comment section so I know that I am resonating somewhere. My fourth reason is lack of job security. No matter where you work, what you do, in this current economic situation, there is no guarantee that you will be working in the same role for the next 1 or 2 years. A few months ago, a small bunch of layoffs happened in my company, and some of the people who got laid off, I knew they were working in really big and good projects, and they had contributed a lot to the company. And seeing that those people did not get consideration during layoff, and whereas me, I am just a small worker in one of their departments who does not have that much of a contribution, maybe, like, I don't compare to those people who got laid off. And that time I realized that I will not be able to do anything if the higher management decides that today Akanksha is going to get laid off, and that will be the last day for me in the company when I pack my bags and go home. That is such a helpless situation to be in, and I did not want that to happen. So I wanted to prepare myself and take control of this situation before it happens. And finally, unfortunately, there is this invisible ceiling of pay scale in Canada, and advertising industry is not one of the higher paying fields in this country. There's a saturation point in advertising industry in terms of pay scale, and I think I've reached that. If I want to even make a jump of $10,000 or $15,000 from what I'm earning right now, it is going to be super difficult for me to do that, because companies just don't want to pay. As well as Canadian economy has become such that people just don't want to pay a big number to anyone, because for one position people are lining up, 200-300 applications are going in to work for that one position at a lower pay scale. So why would companies want to hire someone at a higher pay grade? So when I considered all of these things, I thought everything over. I discussed with my partner, and he was one of my biggest encouragements to do this. I decided that it was time to resign and quit and go after something else. Now, how did everyone take it? Coming from a brown family, it is very difficult to quit a job, because we have been always told to save for the future, to have a good stable job, good stable income. But I think I am blessed with the best kind of family and partner, because my mom has always told me to put my needs first, to focus on my career and then think about anything else. She has always pushed me to do what I want, to go after my dreams, to go after my passion, and made me believe that if I put my mind on something, I can definitely achieve it. I told her over the call why I wanted to quit and what are my plans now. She listened to everything and she said, it's good, like, do whatever you want. If you think it's good for you, go ahead. This is something that is a big motivating factor, and as I told you before as well, my partner has been my encouragement here. My mother is my strength, and my partner is my encouragement. So these two pillars actually has allowed me to do this and take this step and finally get out of the corporate life. Okay, let's come to my conversation with my manager. Although I was super nervous when I was telling her, but they are so supportive that I feel really lucky. Okay, coming to this decision was not easy, and it was not a one day thing. I always kept thinking about it, but after a lot of discussion and deciding on the pros and cons, that is when I came to this decision. I gave it a lot of thought. Even after I said, okay, I'll quit to my manager, I thought about saying that no, I'll stay. It took me a lot of time and a lot of thinking to get to this point where I thought that, okay, let's just do it. There were doubts, fears, nervousness, and the uncertainty that came along with this decision was really daunting. and I always kept thinking, what do I do next? Am I taking the right decision? Should I just like not do it? And I also thought, would I regret this decision? But even after all this, I was super excited. And there was one thing that I noted in myself, that the day after I told my company that I am quitting, I felt so lighthearted, so free. I felt like there was this sense of relief that sat down on me, and even today I feel like I am on a different cloud altogether. I'm so happy and so excited about what's coming up next. I don't have a very concrete plan. I do not have another job lined up, just FYI. So this is something very uncertain, and this is kind of the wildest decision of my life that I have taken, with no plans whatsoever, no guaranteed plan of success, no guaranteed way of income. But this is something that I did for myself, and I just feel that I'm so proud and so confident in myself after taking this step that I've never felt this kind of joy. I don't know, you have been seeing me since a long time, so you would know the kind of happiness I have in me right now. It's so different, and it just feels really relieving that I have walked out of this. I know I sound dramatic and my ideas sound idealistic, but this is what it is. This is how I feel. And if you are thinking about whether you should do it or not, just ask yourself a few questions. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Is the role that you are in going to give you accessibility or allow you to reach where you want to be in the next 5 years? And most importantly, is this making you happy? When you get answers to these 3 questions, you'll know whether you should stay in this job or not. And okay, to make one thing clear, I'm not saying that you should quit your job. If you love it, it's great, you should stay there. And I also understand that being able to quit your job is a very big privilege, not something that everyone can do, and not something that I would be able to do if you asked me to do it 3 years ago, because I was not financially stable enough. If you think that my experience helped you get some insights about your situation, then give me a like as well, because that helps YouTube know that my content is good enough to show to other people and so. And what I plan to do next? Well, I do have a plan. If you know me, if you have been here, you know that I do not work without a plan. But I'm not going to tell you today. I will keep it for next week. Until then, you can guess what I plan to do. And if you guess it correctly, I will give you a shout out in my next video and put you over here on the screen. And of course, you would not want to miss next week's video. So do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the upload. And next week, I'm going to drop a bomb about what I'm going to do with my life. I don't know how many will guess it right, but if you do, like, you know me well. It is exciting, and I hope you like it. I'm so scared, I'm so nervous, but I know if I'm here, if you guys support me, everything is possible. So keep watching this space. I'll come back next week with the most epic update of my life. Until then, bye.